The Flintstones movie, under the imaginative lens suggested by the thematic title, El boleto de la lotería, becomes a surprisingly fertile ground for examining how simple comedic premises can morph into reflections on aspiration, insecurity, and the human tendency to gamble on fate when life seems too heavy to confront directly. When reviewing the film from a critical perspective, one discovers that beneath its prehistoric slapstick humor lies a subtle but persistent commentary on how ordinary individuals react when given the illusion of sudden fortune. In this sense, the movie benefits from an interpretation that stretches beyond its surface narrative and uses each scene as a fragment of a larger mosaic about hope, impulsiveness, and personal transformation. The film crafts its tone carefully, using exaggerated Stone Age inventions and cartoon logic not merely for laughs, but to build an ironic contrast with the recognizably modern dilemmas facing its characters. The opening scenes, often dismissed as playful world-building, actually set the stage for understanding why a character like Fred Flintstone might connect emotionally with something resembling a lottery ticket. He is portrayed as a working-class individual who pushes through repetitive days with more optimism than his circumstances justify. The rock quarry, with its rhythmic labor and absurdly oversized creatures used as tools, becomes almost symbolic of being trapped in routines that grind ambition down. Even the banter between Fred and Barney carries hints of quiet resignation beneath the humor, revealing two men who joke so they do not dwell on the lingering weight of unfulfilled dreams. When one interprets these scenes with the lottery concept in mind, every comedic beat acquires a touch of melancholy, as if the town of Bedrock collectively shares an unspoken desire for something unexpected to break the cycle of sameness. The movie's strength lies in the way it juxtaposes mundane emotional truths with visual absurdities, creating a world where a giant bird acting as a garbage disposal can coexist with the subtle despair of economic stagnation. This blend allows the narrative to introduce the metaphorical lottery ticket without making it feel forced. The moment Fred imagines a life of sudden wealth is not created for shallow comedic effect. It is an emotional pivot, revealing insecurities that the film normally keeps under thick layers of slapstick. His eyes widen not because he is greedy, but because he is tired, and the possibility of a miracle becomes momentarily irresistible. The next scenes build on this by showing how quickly Bedrock reacts to rumors and possibilities, establishing a community that thrives on shared fantasies when real prospects are scarce. The movie frames this dynamic through crowded streets, gossip passed like wildfire, and exaggerated reactions that fit its cartoonish vocabulary while still echoing real human behavior. Watching these scenes, I found myself reminded of small neighborhoods I experienced growing up, where even the mention of someone winning a minor scratch-off lottery prize could animate an entire street with speculation. The film mirrors this atmosphere intentionally, or perhaps unintentionally, showing how closely knit communities amplify dreams the moment they sense a collective emotional hunger. As the story progresses, the scenes involving misunderstandings, mistaken identities, or misplaced trust all become part of the cinematic metaphor that accompanies the imaginary lottery ticket. Fred experiences a rapid rise in confidence when others perceive him as luckier or more successful than he is. His posture straightens, his voice deepens, and his decisions grow bolder, though not necessarily wiser. The cinematography reinforces this change by subtly adjusting lighting and background arrangements, placing Fred in more central frames and giving him an aura of authority even before he understands the consequences of embracing such illusions. Critics often overlook these details, dismissing them as simple stylistic choices, but they contribute significantly to the narrative's emotional rhythm. Every comedic mishap becomes a reminder that a life built on unearned fortune is unstable, and the film cleverly uses Bedrock's whimsical physics to illustrate how quickly things can crumble when one stands on fantasy rather than foundation. One particularly striking scene occurs when Fred, weighed down by expectations, begins to lose the support of those closest to him. The movie expresses this through humor, yet the hurt behind the laughter is unmistakable. Barney's disappointment is framed with emotional clarity, reminding viewers that the real lottery in life is the trust built between friends. I found this scene particularly resonant because it resembles moments when people change under the illusion of success and drift away from those who helped them endure the earlier, harsher years. The Flintstones movie disguises this emotional lesson within comedic timing, but the message remains powerful. Winning is never worth losing the people who matter. Toward the end, the movie reaffirms its thematic foundation by dismantling Fred's perceived fortune and forcing him to confront the truth he avoided. This moment, though surrounded by chaos and comedic exaggeration, stands as the emotional core of the narrative. The metaphorical lottery ticket dissolves, leaving behind the reminder that genuine happiness is rarely found through shortcuts. The reconciliation scenes that follow take their time, emphasizing sincerity over sentimentality. The closing moments wrap the narrative with a warm but grounded tone, suggesting that even in a world where dinosaurs operate household appliances, the richest treasures remain intangible. Watching the film through this analytical lens enriches the experience significantly. It transforms each comedic beat into a step in an emotional journey, each scene into part of a communal reflection on how easily people become captivated by the promise of sudden fortune. The Flintstones, with its exaggerated Stone Age charm, becomes a cinematic reminder that true stability is built through relationships, humility, and resilience. And perhaps that is why the theme El boleto de la lotería fits so naturally with the film. The story is less about a literal ticket and more about the universal impulse to believe that fate may someday reward us without demanding the usual struggle. It invites viewers to laugh, reflect, and ultimately recognize themselves in the characters who chase after fantasies, only to discover that their real treasure was already present in the life they had taken for granted.